And its wingspan would be massive.
That's what I would be worried about, is their wingspan, because they're like fucking come
Yeah, man. Horses can't fly. Ducks can fly. Hello and welcome to another episode of 7 Days Makes 1 Week. I always forget, so don't forget to review, rate, subscribe, upvote, comment, share, all that YouTube, social media jazz. I am joined this week by my Grizzly Adam beard brother. To my left, young Neek back in the place to be. I am Freddie P. Producer Zach is strapping on the headphones, making sure the levels are good to go. How's everybody, and how's everybody's weeks been?
I'm pretty good, I guess, minus all my vehicle bullshit, but yeah, it is what it is, I guess. Things are okay. What about you?
Oh, I'm good. I can't complain. Just working away. It's wild days in sports. The Premier League had a really crazy finish today, and the Oilers Flames series has been quite the event to watch. I've watched both of those games. But what about you, Zach? How was your week?
It was pretty good. I was in Calgary all week, again paving with the buys, and just a little bit tired, but happy to be back in the city. Yeah.
Were you in Calgary when the Oilers were playing?
The first game, yeah. We were sitting down in the hotel lounge, and Paul and Chris were going at it.
Really?
They'd score, and Paul would be like, yeah, fuck you. And then Chris would be like, yeah, fuck. It was very funny. And we're like, guys, there's other people around. It's not just our hotel. But that happens everywhere we go. Everyone's so rambunctious. It's kind of embarrassing. But it is
I kind of miss that a little bit.
Yeah, man. It's fun sometimes.
Traveling with the boys?
Traveling with the boys, yeah. Going paving and shit. You're out of town for a couple days or a week or whatever.
Take our golf clubs.
Yeah.
Come back, watch Nick get punched out.
Nick's got to be my favorite person I've never met. I've never met the guy, but I've just heard so many things about him.
Yeah, that was my fault that happened.
That definitely, but it was very, well, it was you too.
That he got punched out?
Yeah.
Weren't you guys like, and forgive me if I'm out of turn here, but weren't you guys like arguing over like a waitress or something?
So what he was saying was, yeah, there was a waitress there or whatever, and I said something along the lines of, you're a fucking dirtbag and you got a wife at home and shit, and like trying to cheat on your wife and blah blah blah, and then fucking out of nowhere Justin just got up and fucking them two got into it, and Justin just cracked him, I'm pretty sure, and got him on the ground. And then
weren't you sharing a room with Justin?
Yes.
And then he was in his room later and he was crying. He's like, I'm gonna get fired.
Yes. Steve came in, the foreman came in and was like, so what the fuck happened? Blah, blah, blah. And I explained what happened. Meanwhile, Justin's behind me. His lip is quivering. Yeah, it was a fucking funny night. And then I was just like, man, I didn't do anything wrong, man. I didn't hit anybody. We just got into an argument and all of a sudden they're fighting. I didn't fucking do anything wrong. Which, I mean, I kind of instigated it. But
I think we had a couple beverages before at the golf course.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
That was Barhead Golf Course.
That's a fun golf course, man.
That's a legit golf course, man. There's even fucking Nathan Beeler. He's like, yo, that's a good golf course, man, for sure.
You guys are hitting the links today.
Yeah. Hunter's Green, shout out. Cattail Crossing. It's not a bad little golf course. It's okay.
You guys going to break par or what?
I'm going to shoot 2 over. I'll shoot 2 over.
What did you shoot last time?
2 over 80 or 90 or
2 over 100. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, when I went to Eagle Rock last week, and Buddy and I, Mike, we were fucking neck and neck.
He's a pretty good golfer.
He's a good golfer. We were neck and neck up until like hole 13 or 14, and then I just fucking
bottled it.
I bottled it, and he ended up beating me by 10 strokes. So,
Jesus.
Yeah, he shot a 90.
10 strokes and 4 holes? Didn't you say 14?
5 holes. Yeah, but yeah, he was par bogey and I was double bogey, probably a couple triples in there, and yeah, I shot 100 and he shot a 90, so that's pretty good on his end and very, very poor on my end. So, yeah.
Before we move on to the Premier League, I guess we can circle back to the Oilers games. some pretty funny talking points, some pretty good talking points. McDavid showing up, Draisaitl doing his thing even with an injured ankle. Mike Smith kind of had a stinker in the first game, but played pretty well in the second. Vander Kane playing well. He getting into it with Matt Tkachuk. The beaking that they had back and forth was pretty funny.
Fucking hate that little guy.
Everybody hates that guy because he's not on your team.
Did you hear what? Came out? What Matthew Tkachuk was saying in the box to him? He said,
asked him if he needed money
borrow
on the
some
ice.
money, yeah.
And then in the box, he was calling him a poor bastard.
Which is like, as far as trips go, that's
hilarious.
That's hilarious. He's not crossing really the line.
No,
or anything.
no, there's no family.
That's a great chirp.
Like it's like personal, but it's not personal.
But it's well-known information. Right?
Yeah,
it's
it's public knowledge.
Yeah.
Not saying anything about your wife or your kids. Apparently, Kevin Garnett was a fucking savage when it came to talking shit to people. Like a straight up fucking savage. Like no holds barred. Doesn't give a fuck what he's gonna say.
Really?
I don't remember any of the examples, but apparently he's a beast.
One time he said to Carmelo Anthony, after him and Lala were having like troubles, he said that Lala's tastes like Honey Nut Cheerios.
Damn.
I wonder if Garnett got in that shit.
Good chance. And then he was in that. You're watching The Last Dance. There's that thing at him about her. I've heard a clip where he went to talk shit to Michael Jordan, and his own teammate was like, yo.
To
He's
Kevin
not
Garnett?
Yeah, he's like, yo, he's not the one. You don't talk shit to him.
Yeah.
Niko and I spent the morning watching the Premier League wrap-up. It was really down to the wire when it came to Leeds avoiding relegation, which they did, and who ended up going down? Burnley ended up going down. Leeds stay in the Premier League. Burnley, Watford, and Norwich. Norwich and Watford have been a couple weeks now. But at the top of the table, Tottenham had to win to secure Champions League play, and they did. They had a 5-0 win, even though Arsenal won 5-1 over Everton. They still miss out on the Champions League. They'll be in the Europa League, which, they're still a young squad. They're still rebuilding. That's fine. It's
Arsenal's
still Europe.
Trash. Shout out. Arsenal is garbage.
And we know you're watching.
Yes, we do. Anyway, City and Liverpool were at the top of the Premier League. If Liverpool won, City had to win. The leads changed multiple times. They weren't playing each other. How the Premier League works is it's whoever has the most points at the end of the season wins. For a little bit, Liverpool was down and City was tying in their game, so they were up 1 point. But then City conceded a goal, so then they were tied on, and then Liverpool scored, so they were tied on points. Then City conceded another goal, so they were down 2-0. So if Liverpool won, that was like a tremendous hole to climb out of. 5 minutes in the 76th minute to the 81st minute, City rally. They score 3 goals to go up 3-2. So now they have a 3-point lead, or a 2-point lead, 93 to 91.
Yeah.
No, 93 to 90, because they ended up winning by 1 point. So they had a 3-point lead when Liverpool was tied. Then Liverpool scored, and then they ended up scoring twice. So they ended up winning 3-1. So then in the final minutes of the City game, they're winning 93 to 92 in the Premier League, and they have to see out the game to win. And they do see out the game, and they end up winning the Premier League on 1 point. And it was a sight to see.
Yeah, Fred came over to watch it, and before he even come in, Liverpool was losing 1-0. And the only thing about that is, even if Manchester City really needed to come back and win their game, because Liverpool won their game, like at one point it didn't matter if City lost because Liverpool was still tied. But once Liverpool got that second goal to make it 2-1, then City really needed to...
They had to win.
They had to win, even though they were already winning at that point, I'm pretty sure, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think they went up 3-2, and then Liverpool scored shortly after, I believe.
Yeah, so it was super crazy. And then Hyun-Min Son got 2 goals.
Yeah, in the Golden Boot race, going into the final day, Young-Min Son of Tottenham had 21 goals, and Mohamed Salah had 22. Mohamed Salah of Liverpool had 22, but he didn't start the game. He came off the bench and scored Liverpool's third goal to bring him to 23 goals in the Premier League season. But in the 5-0 romping, Son managed to score two of his own. So now the two of them are going to share the trophy of the Golden Boot for the Premier League with 23 goals apiece, which is pretty awesome. That's pretty good goal return. 30 is like a remarkable season in the Premier League. So
Yeah.
low 20s is still pretty consistent, especially on those teams. They spread the goals around a lot.
Yeah, I'm sure. And I think Harry Kane's got like 17 or 18 or some shit. So
I'm
like,
pretty sure all of the top 5 consist of Son, Salah, Mane, Jota, and Kane.
Where's Ronaldo? He's not in there?
He might have been just creeping in. When they played each other, the 5 people were in those two teams.
Gotcha.
Can I ask you guys a question?
For
Of
sure.
course.
So if I can just get a better understanding, so you said 30 goals in soccer is a pretty good, in the Premier League is a pretty good year.
Well, you have two
Pretty
different
much in
stats,
any
really.
year, any league is
Any-
pretty good, yeah.
And then like Ronaldo and Messi kind of like don't count. Well, now
They're
do.
like outliers.
Yeah, but there was like a 10 to 15 year period where just like the numbers were just stupid. Like they almost don't count.
Yeah, if they never existed,
30 goals is a stupidly good
So
Yeah.
my question is, how does that compare to like a good year in hockey? Is that a 50-goal year in hockey, a 60-goal year in hockey? Like how would you
like 50 goals.
50? Okay.
Well,
Well, see, this is weird though, because hockey there's only one competition. Soccer there's like multiple competitions. So let's just say like a Ronaldo or a Messi when they were both playing in La Liga, which is the Spanish professional league. They'll finish that season with like 40, 45, 50 goals. But then Ronaldo specifically is really good in the Champions League. He'll get like another 10 in the Champions League. So they'd be finishing the whole season with like 60, 70 goals, which is like, yeah, this should not be happening. Like there was one calendar year from January 1st to January 1st where Messi scored 91 goals. Like that's just, he was outscoring whole clubs. And it's just like, that's ridiculous. That should not be happening. So those two were like, it's like they're like aliens, man.
Anomaly.
Yeah, it's a massive anomaly. You can't really compare them to anybody else. But if you're anyone else and you finish in like the Premier League or the German league or the Spanish league or even the French league now, but also comes to the competition in the leagues. Like the Premier League's the closest competition from 1 to
10 probably.
20 even.
Yeah.
Whereas the other leagues, like the French league, there's a lot of weak teams in there. The Spanish league, there's even some weak teams in there. There's like the quality drops off at a lower number than the Premier League. Like the Premier League, maybe 20 is a stretch, but down to like 13, 14, those are still pretty solid teams that you're coming up against. But if you can finish the Premier League season with like 20 to 30 goals and finish at like 45 for your whole campaign, yeah, you're nominated for trophies and shit at the end of the year. You're regarded as one. That's a 50, 60 goal season in hockey.
Yeah, for sure. Like in the Bundesliga, there's literally like there's like 2 or 3 teams maybe, and the 1 year Lewandowski had like 65 goals or some shit.
And that's all
like that.
competitions again. But
Yeah, all competitions. It's like even still like that's like it's like adding your regular season goals plus your playoff goals.
And if there was another tournament.
Yeah.
That, like a completely side thing from the NHL that, like if the NHL teams played the KHL teams in a completely side tournament that had nothing to do with the NHL regular season.
Or if it was like, you know how when teams are eliminated from the playoffs, they used to have, I don't know if they're doing it now, but the International Inter Hockey Federation, like they do the Worlds. So if
Yeah,
be
so
like
that would
adding all
count too.
those goals.
Yeah.
Okay, I
They
got you.
count international
Yeah.
goals too. In soccer that'd be called an international goal. And yeah, at the end of the year they'd say like Ronaldo finishes with 70 goals. 50 of them came in La Liga. 10 of them came in the Champions League. He had 4 for Portugal because they only played 4 games or whatever, and whatever got him to 70. And it'd be a breakdown of all those different things. But there's one, like, I've heard Luis Suarez, who's like a controversial player in soccer, but he's a really good goal scorer. He said one of his biggest accomplishments is that so there's a Golden Boot is what the top scorer gets, like the Rocket Richard trophy, but each league will do one, and then Europe will do one for the whole European, all of the leagues combined. You
the
were the
best
best goal
scorer,
scorer
yeah.
in all of Europe. and he won one in the peak Ronaldo and Messi days, and he's like, that's almost my personal best trophy, that I won a golden boot when Ronaldo and Messi were fucking doing their thing.
Yeah, that's like winning MVP when Michael Jordan was at the top of.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's
Yeah.
exactly. Having a season where you outscored Wayne Gretzky and Mario Lemieux when they're, you know what I mean, something like that. Like
some retarded shit. But
we do have another Oilers game this evening. I know we're bouncing around a lot with these sports quite a bit, but the Oilers series is tied 1-1. Yeah, there you go. Fire that bad boy up.
I'm only gonna take one puff because I'm gonna get super fucked up.
Zach, does weed ever make you like? Does it make you anxious, or does it take away your anxiousness?
Okay, so when I was younger, I would just smoke it. Right now, I try to pick and choose what I feel like at nighttime. I like.
Yeah, you're a very sativa indica guy.
Yes, but the problem with indicas is if I get too baked off of indica and I'm going to bed or something. I don't know, this is a little bit personal, but usually when I go to bed, sometimes the Rolodex of dumb decisions I make go through my head. Like when you're trying to fall asleep and share with everybody else. But if I'm too high, it's like just a fucking megaphone in my head.
With the indica?
With indicas.
Really?
I don't know. But sativas, that's what I smoke when I'm out and about with my friends and keeps me active. Indicas is if I'm here playing Skyrim for 5 hours or something like that.
But so the indica is what gives you like racing thoughts?
Yes, but I'm always usually pretty anxious on a day-by-day basis. But the indica, if I smoke a little bit too much of it, it seems to just increase it by a large amount. Yeah. So I try to I like have a couple puffs before bed. Or maybe I'll even eat a little edible or half an edible or something. But I'm not trying to get squinty off the indicas anymore because it kind of takes me to the dark place.
See, and that's pretty much why I quit smoking weed, because I feel like I don't want to say it doesn't matter what weed I smoke, but like if I smoke too much, like I got some straight anxiety that's like, why did I even smoke that? You know what I mean? And I'm just like fucking worrying about stuff that I would never normally worry about while I'm sober. Like, I don't worry at all when I'm fucking sober. As soon as I smoke a joint, I'm just like, fucking, oh my God.
See, I ask you because him and I...
Or some shit. Or like something like that. Or like, I worry about like fucking my life. Or like, I should be doing something else other than what I'm doing right now. Or like, just like worry about something that somebody said to me, or just like dumb shit, man. That
overthinking.
Overthinking random fucking things that don't mean anything. You know what I mean? And it's just like my chest is my heart's racing. You can feel my heart pounding. I'm just like like fucking hard to breathe, like
almost like a panic attack.
Kind of, but like I don't get panic attack, but it's just my mind just doesn't stop for like an hour or whatever. And yeah, so that's the first puff of weed I've taken in like I want to say like a month. Nice. But I feel like I've taken a puff at home once in between there. Just like a little fucking almost like a little roach, man. Fire up a little roach and just like okay, good enough, like, and then it's just like okay, that was just the right amount. Whereas before, I'd smoke that whole thing to myself, like no problem.
Yeah, the reason I asked you is because him and I have been smoking weed together since we were fucking 15, hanging out, playing cards for hours. Remember I was telling you and our former host and you how we played asshole so much, and I was like, man, if he was here, he would like the game didn't even become fun anymore. Everyone would still have 4 cards left, and we knew who was gonna win. Like it was dumb, and we would just sit there, smoke blunts and blunts and blunts, and then him and I are almost like the yin and the yang of weed smoking. Like I naturally have anxiety and overthink all those things, and I'm like, fuck, man, like smoking weed chills me out and like gets me mellow and relaxes me, where he's like the exact opposite. He's like chilled out and mellow and relaxed, smokes weed, and then the brakes fucking come off. So It's just crazy that it can do like the opposite.
I feel like I kind of sit somewhere in the middle there because I'm usually walking around with some like thoughts like, was this guy looking at me? Like that, that Futurama meme of Fry where he's like his eyes are shifting and it's like not sure if I'm being stared at because I'm attractive or just really ugly. Like something, you know what I mean? Like just dumb shit like that.
Yeah.
And when I smoke, sometimes it's amazing, and I feel like sometimes I just don't know what's gonna happen, but I roll the dice anyways.
Well, like, I remember back in the day, I would be like, yo, if weed makes you paranoid, that's how you know it's like super good. But that's like straight up. Well, straight up. That's how you know it's high quality, in my opinion, anyway. But the thing is, I would only get paranoid for like 15, 20 minutes. Now I'm fucking paranoid for like an hour. Like, fucking, I'm sitting there, I'm like,
And you can
trying to,
tell
like-
too with his energy when you're in the room with him. You can tell he's not like having a panic attack by any means, but you can tell he's like.
well, I get like quiet too.
Yeah.
Like when I get in my own head like that, and I'm just like, I could be sitting here with you guys, and you guys would be like conversing, and I'm just like sitting here not saying anything, and I'm just like, you know what I mean? I'm not saying anything because I got too much shit on my fucking mind right now. You know what I mean? So like, that's another reason why like. I feel like I'd rather smoke it in a setting like this, or like when we're going golfing or something, I take a couple puffs or whatever. But like if I'm at home by myself, fuck no, it's just not worth it. So
That's called growth, man.
yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
What does that mean for me and you though? You and I.
That we're just destined
Degenerates?
to be degenerates for the rest of our lives.
That's fair.
That's
I
fine.
feel
At
like
least
I've
we're
known that
functional
for a bit.
degenerates, right?
That's true.
You're in sucking crack for a joint on Bellamy Hill.
Sucking
crack for a
Sucking
joint.
cock for crack.
Well, unless you meant sucking ass crack.
Sucking ass crack. Is there anything else you guys like to bring up before we do a would you rather and a fact and all that jazz? You guys been paying attention to Amber Heard and Johnny Depp at all?
You read my
Yeah.
mind. Did you see that weird? I don't know if it's true, and I hate bringing up gossip because until it's you're supposed to find out.
No.
Oh,
man,
who gives a
that's-
fuck? They're celebrities.
I know, but so apparently I read one where it said Elon Musk, Amber Heard, and Cara Delevingne had a
Yeah.
three-way.
Yeah, man, I heard
And
that.
all
yeah.
I could think of was good for him.
Good for him. That's sick. Good for
Yeah,
him.
straight up. But yeah, I did hear about that, whether it's true or not.
I love that she has to like cop to so much shit. Like she tried to make him out as like this big like drug user and shit, but she's like under oath and whatever. It's like, but you have done mushrooms, right? And she has to be like, yeah. And it's like, and you did do Molly at the same time. And it's like, yes. It's like, and you have done cocaine, right? And it's like, oh, Disney's gone.
Yeah.
Fuck, Paramount gone. You know what I mean? Like, well, maybe not some of those companies because I'm sure a lot of those actors are doing mad drugs. But it's just funny that she's like getting caught in so much bullshit.
Yeah, man.
And I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't think he's a saint either. Like, clearly he's got a bunch of fucking demons and issues, and he's fucking in a state of wasted a lot. But that's not illegal, unfortunately.
I think the difference between them two is they both have some very big issues, and from what I can pick up, he seems to be a genuinely well-intentioned person at heart, and she seems to be kind of like an evil person at heart.
I agree.
As
yeah.
well as we were talking about a delusional individual earlier. Talk about delusional. She thinking she can go to court, everything's going to be televised, and she's somehow going to get away with all this. That is the definition of delusional.
Did
Yeah,
you see
man.
her talking about donating the money she got from their divorce?
Yeah, and then she never did it anyways.
Yeah, she says, "Oh, I pledged it," and his lawyer's like, "Pledge and donations do not mean the same thing." And she's like, "I use them interchangeably." And then the lawyer's like, "That's fine. They don't mean the same
Yeah,
thing.
I can
no
pledge
one else
that I can
does."
dunk, but doesn't mean I can jump hard and 6 inches off the ground.
You know, I use the word layup and dunk interchangeably. I played a game of hoop and I had 13 dunks.
Yeah.
At 5'10" and 200 pounds. I dunked 13 times. You guys should have seen it.
Well, they weren't actually dunks.
Finger
Well,
rolls.
yeah.
Wait, what dunk's a finger roll? You know, finger roll, backboard net.
I was close to the rim, okay?
Yeah. I hit the net.
They're the same. They're the same thing in my opinion.
I slapped the backboard when I did a layup. Right, that's a dunk, right? Yeah, that shit's fucking crazy. And some of like the audio that I guess she recorded when they were fighting, like how you just said that he seems well mannered. Like all of the ones that I've heard, she seems like she's really instigating it, and he's just like, "Yo, I just want to leave."
Yeah, he
like,
seems like super quiet and chill.
He's like, I'm literally just trying to. Oh, you're gonna run away to one of your other 15 houses? He's like, I
Sure.
guess. Like,
Yeah.
and she's like, oh, you're gonna go do drugs, and it's like, what? I just don't want to be here. Like, I just
It
don't want to
seems
be
like he
anywhere
was-
but here.
Yeah, it seems like he was trying to de-escalate all the situations, and it's almost seemed like she had an agenda from day one.
Yeah, and if you're in a relationship with someone who's struggling with drugs, like, that's just like gaslighting them to go and do those drugs. You know what I mean? Like, if you really cared about it, it'd be hard in a situation when you're arguing with someone. I mean, you're not thinking with like the clearest intentions and blah blah blah. But you'd almost want to try and like, oh yo, Niko, you go hang out with Zach if you're all pissed off because Zach has good intentions for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
you're not just telling them like, oh, go fucking do drugs. You know, like pushing them in that direction. You know what I mean? But clearly she didn't have good intentions for the guy. But It's crazy, like, observing a toxic. I'm sure everyone's been in a toxic relationship. I know I have, but it's crazy, like, observing the text messages of them from like an outside point of view, where she writes like, "We're gonna rip each other's throats out, but my throat belongs to you," or some shit like that. Like, we're gonna be the death of each other, but it's fine. It's like, that's so fucked up. Then Johnny Depp's like, "I have other uses for your throat that do not involve violence." And it's just like, man, this shit was bad news bears from the beginning. It's crazy, but that shit made me laugh actually. And then the box looks like it could have some cocaine in it. Looks like it would be a good box for cocaine. Like Johnny Depp was making some good jokes and shit. How she keeps looking at the jury's kind of weird. You know what I mean? Like, if you like, I've never.
Well, there's psychology and stuff behind how you present yourself.
Yeah.
Like, you know how you see her going out and she's like glamorous, and then she's there and she looks kind of like a reserved woman with her hair.
The hair done all.
You know what I mean?
reserved,
There's a game to the game, and it's just. It's kind of depressing.
There
I
was
guess,
one day in court where she had the hair all fucking wavy and like she was looking like she was going to like a Met Gala or some shit. And then from that day forward, it's always been like pulled back in a fucking tight whatever. Yeah. That tight bun. I don't know. It's crazy. I like I said, I don't think Johnny Depp's like innocent by any means, but I hope it works out well for him.
By the looks of it, I think there's a lot more people on his side than there is on her side.
It seems that the court of public opinion seems to be rocking with Johnny Depp.
For once, in a way, like it's usually
everybody going on getting the back of the female.
The guy really has to prove that he was like it's like he has to prove innocence instead of guilt. You know, you should be innocent until proven guilty. When you're the man in a domestic violence thing like that, you have to prove your innocence as opposed to your guilt.
Yeah.
But how many favors did she not do herself when that recording of her being like, "Who's gonna believe you, a man?" Johnny Depp saying, "I'm like," that shit's fucking crazy, man. Domestic abuse isn't cool, either way, to any partner. Anything else in the world you guys like to talk about? Well, some ghosts just came in.
Yeah. You got ghosts in your house, Zach.
the patio's open.
Paranormal.
Yeah,
I was gonna turn my AC on to cool the place down.
That's not bad.
No, it wasn't because I have everything open. But before I left, I got a whole bunch of Nutella shit, like this Nest thing and everything. That fucking thing doesn't even work. Like it works, but I can't. It doesn't hook up to this electrical panel because it's an electric baseboard heater.
Yeah.
Telus didn't tell me that would have. So I got to put the old one back on. So while I was gone, my house was like 26 degrees, and I was really worried about the cat. So I tried to put the AC in, and now that fucker thing, which has never done it before, is tripping my my circuit in my breaker, my electrical box. So it runs for 10 minutes and then it shuts off everything. Then I go flip the breaker on and off. So
mine did that for a while. Where do you plug? So mine did that for a while, and I had to keep flicking the breaker as well. But something about the lines from the breaker box in these condos, the line might be doing like this whole set of walls.
It's this wall, and there's an outlet here that I have a couple things on, but nothing high power. Yeah. Just my N64, which probably could run off batteries. And then, just the AC. But it is a pretty aggressive AC for this small house. That thing pumps out some serious cooling effects.
Yeah, I just moved mine in my room. And I just keep my door open when I have to. But because it was just tripping when I did the other one, which is not good. You got anything for us there, producer Zach? Oh, wait, hold on. Predictions for tonight's Oilers game.
Oh, you guys, the 50-50 is at almost $44 million right now.
Really?
$4 million. The puck
I
drop.
bought. So if you spend $50, you get 250 tickets. So I just bought one of those bundles.
Yeah, buddies at work.
Sick.
Buddies at work be doing that shit a lot. They're like, "Oh man, I gotta buy 50-50 tickets for the Oilers game." It's like, man, people just love gambling.
Well, I don't really gamble a lot whatsoever. I've never played the lottery. We do the lottery pool at work, but I'm not. I just give the money to the guy and he fucking deals with it.
Yeah.
But I just thought, hey man, this is $4 million. Wouldn't that be cool?
And also,
go to space or something.
The chances of winning this $4 million is a lot better than winning the lottery.
That's very true because it's only Alberta wide.
Yeah, so there can only be so many tickets when there's fucking 30 million people in Canada, and they're buying fucking 10 each. Well, not everybody is, but you know what I mean. It's like 100 million tickets sold. You know what I mean, or 80 million.
Yeah,
tickets.
It'd be nice if they posted how many tickets have been bought.
Yeah, then you can see your
rough chances.
I wonder if they do. Let me check.
Yeah, check it.
In the meantime, I got a little fun 50-50 story for you guys. And I can't really name names, but I went to an Oilers game a little while ago, a group of friends and whatnot. And this equally split guys and girls. And all the girls leave, and the guys are just sitting there watching the game. They come back, and the one guy's girlfriend spent like, I think it was $200, 200 or 500. I don't remember. I think it was 200. It might have been 5 though. Fuck, I wish I remembered. On 50-50.
From one guy? Did you just buy it off one guy?
Yeah,
Okay,
one shot, one
yeah,
piece of paper
Yeah,
with his money,
yeah.
with the boyfriend's money. So I looked at my girlfriend and I was like, yo, he's the one who drove us down there. I looked at her. I was like, if you did that to me, that would be the most uncomfortable car ride home for you and your friends you've ever been a part of. I was like, I would be so fucking pissed off. And she was like, how, like, I was like, I wouldn't say anything and I wouldn't freak out. I was like, but I'd be listening to, like, Benny the Butcher slang heroin at, like, level 30, like some straight gangster rap at level 30 in my car, not letting anybody have any conversation because I'm not trying to hear any of it. If you just threw away that much money on a fucking 50-50. And then this girl was like, well, you know, it's just, I have a card, and when you can tap the card, you can get anything you want. Wouldn't you do that? And we were all like, all of us have cards that you can tap and do that with. Like, yeah. How would you guys react to that? You went to the Oilers game with your girl. You sent her with your card to buy a beer. She came back with let's just say $350, somewhere in the middle. $350 50-50.
If she wasted the money, I'd be choked. If we won, I would be stoked.
That's what I told my pops about. He's like, well, they win.
And that's what I thought you were going to say. I thought you were going to say...
They definitely did not.
They won. And, yeah. But
No, they definitely did not win.
yeah, I would be fairly cheesed because I'm not I don't gamble like that. When I gamble, the Bulls are going to beat the fucking Pistons. You know what I mean? And then I kind of look at it like that. It's like not like...
I want to bet today, City to win the Premier League. I made it at the beginning of the season.
How much money are you collecting on that?
I
From
profited
your bookie.
$33.
Dang, dog. That's
monies.
freaking... That's about 12 McDoubles.
You boy, yeah. I don't make big sports bets. $5 here, $10 there. That's probably one of the biggest I've ever made. It was City had pretty good odds, so it was, or sorry, like they had pretty good chances of winning, so the odds were not very good.
That was the biggest bet you've made?
$50 probably. I don't bet big, dude.
Yeah, neither do I. I think that's probably the biggest that I
At the
bet
beginning
I
of the
won
season, I
with you.
threw 50 on City and 30 on Liverpool. And Liverpool, I'm pretty sure, was like 6-1 odds, and City, it wasn't even 2-1. I threw in 50 and I won 83. But then a couple weeks ago, Liverpool dropped points, so I cashed that bet out, and it still ended up making like $35 or something, which I instantly blew on the Oilers. Bet on the 2 games that they lost to the Kings were the 2 games that I bet, or 2 of the losses. They lost 3 times, but I bet the first game they lost. They won game 2 and 3, or the second and third game, I'm pretty sure. And then game 4, I was like, oh fuck, they're on a streak because they were like massive wins. Bet on them again, and then that's the other game that they lost. That was bad luck. But yeah, I cashed out on Liverpool a couple weeks ago, and then even during the game, I turned when Aston Villa went up 2-0, I turned to Niko and I was like, fuck.
Yeah.
I wonder how much I can cash out. And I would have been able to get $34 out of my 50 back. But I said, fuck it, let's let it ride. Then they scored 3 goals and I ended up winning.
Which was insane.
Yeah. What do you got for us there, Zachary?
Okay, well, I do have a would you rather, and then I do have...
No, what about the lotto thing? Did you
Oh,
find that?
sorry. No, what do you mean the lotto thing? Like
If
how
they
many
release
tickets?
how many tickets
They
have you
haven't.
bought?
They just have a running counter of how much money they have, and then I think there's early bird prizes, and the biggest prize is a Ford F-150. Speaking of that, if you guys won a vehicle off like Roll Up the Rim or whatever, would you just immediately sell it?
More than likely, yeah.
I
think
feel like there's
stipulations
something-
you have to
yes.
keep it for
Yes.
6 months or
whatever.
a year.
I think
or something.
there's
I would put
some
next to no
stipulations.
kilometers on it and try to flip it for as much as I could, yeah.
Yeah. But okay, so the would you
So,
rather?
hold on. So they
Sorry.
do not tell you how many. You have no idea how many people, how many tickets your tickets are competing against.
I don't think so.
It'd be nice if there was like a single amount of money.
What do you,
like
or a
all-
single amount of tickets?
Yeah, like
Every lottery, there was
Whoa.
only 100 million tickets to be purchased.
But that's the nice thing about this is
No,
that the
I
money
was-
is based on the amount of tickets sold, right?
I meant like one ticket price. So then you can do the math. And if there's 4 million, well, the tickets cost $100 for fucking 250. Well, that's, you know, 40 million times 250 or whatever the fuck it is. And you get the number of tickets sold. But now there's like 50.
Yeah, you can like reverse the math back or whatever it is.
50, 100, 150 tickets sold. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it doesn't say on here. It just shows basic information as well as the early bird prizes on May 22nd, which are at 10 a.m. 2 Gs, 1 p.m. 3 Gs, 6 p.m. 5 Gs, 8 p.m. Scotiabank Suite for 12 for an Oilers home game plus $1,000 food and beverage credit, which is like 4 beers.
Yeah.
And then 9 p.m. is the ultimate Oilers fan package for 4, which is attend an Oilers practice, meet and greet with an Oilers player, which is probably like some call-up. Some dude from
The guy from the Bakersfield Condors or
you
whatever.
get to meet Fernando Pisani. It's like he's not even on the team anymore.
Did you see him in the stands?
No.
Did you
He was
watch the
there?
game? Yeah, he was in the stands on one of the games. I think it was one of the games that got lit up.
Which one? Just joking. And then the last early bird prize is 25 grand, which would be sick. I could do a lot with that.
Yeah, that would.
That would pay probably about half my student loans.
I would forget about my vehicle that I got.
Oh yeah.
I'd go on a vacation and put the rest probably just towards my mortgage or something.
Buy silver. Apparently, Tori says silver's coming back.
We heard a lot of people.
We
actually know quite a few people.
I know a guy
who
or
say
two
that.
that's invested in silver pretty
It's
strong.
pretty cheap. What is silver a gram right now? I know gold is like 17 or 18 bucks a gram.
Tory Landsman,
I know
shout
that's not
out.
right.
No. Gold's got to be way higher.
It's like
than that.
72.
72
Hold
a
on.
I
gram.
was gonna say.
Isn't it like $1,700 an ounce?
No.
Or-
No, it's more than that. I think for a half ounce, it's like, hold on.
You know what I mean, right? They
Yeah.
go by ounces,
It
right?
should be at least in the 70 range, unless it's gone down.
Do we go by gram here, or what are we, drug dealers?
Okay, so for gold
gets
right
sold a
now,
lot in gram because of like the chain. It's just gonna be 20
Gotcha,
gram, 30
yeah.
grams.
gold right now is at okay, these $1,800 and 46 or 1846
An
per
ounce.
ounce in US dollars. So in Canadian, that would
It's like fucking $3,300.
give or take. Yep.
How close am I? 33.22.
I was just gonna do.
Well,
30.
what's your guess?
Oh fuck. 18. I'm gonna say like slightly lower than that. I'm gonna say like 31 or something like that.
I'm still on Bing and it's really fucking me.
Oh my god.
Yo, bro, ask Jeeves, man.
Yahoo over there, bro.
1 gram is $75 Canadian. So it's
Right.
23.71 Canadian.
23.71.
Yeah, because the exchange rate's like a 1 to 6 or 1 to 7, right? And you were like doubling it. So I knew that was gonna be too
32.
high. I should have dropped down further.
What did I do? 32.
23.71.
Damn.
23.71.
So you can literally go onto your whatever bank you're with. Like I know on CIBC, you can go on and literally just buy a gold coin and they'll mail it to you.
Really?
Yeah, but it's at a little bit of a surplus because they like stamp it and everything.
Gotcha.
Yeah, there's services that offer like they almost just look like little like medallions kinda, and they come in what looks like a credit card, and it's like part of the credit card.
You just go swipe at places. And
No,
then
there's no
every
swipe,
time you
it's just
swipe
how,
it, a
like-
little bit of the coin goes away.
And on the back, that'll be like 99.99% gold. You can get 1 gram, 2 grams, 3 grams. Sometimes people put them in the middle of pendants and like put diamonds around it. I can't remember the name of the company, but there's one that does it kind of more than others, and they put a cool little logo on it. And yeah, it's like pretty much pure gold. So
That's cool.
you can almost use that as currency, right? Like when you have that thing, this company certifies that that's 1 gram, 2 grams, 3 grams of 999.99 gold. So if you had that almost anywhere in the world, you could just look at the price of gold and good. That's part of it.
That's pretty cool.
To whoever, if gold is valuable to you or not, that's kind of the thing. Some people, the value of gold to them is nothing because they're not gaudy or whatever. It's only what somebody's willing to pay for it, right?
Yeah, but at the end, like, that's if you just sell it to some random. If you sell it to like the market, you're gonna
Yeah,
you know
which
what I
there
mean?
is always going to
There's
be.
always that market, yeah, and eventually, I do think that gold is going to go up even more because
Oh yeah, gold, silver, diamonds, they're not bad investments by any means.
I feel like I would buy more silver. It's because Tori said so.
dude,
That's probably how he's building his spaceship. He's
He
using
was-
that as his conducting
He
material.
was just talking about that shit, and out of nowhere, I just thought about Tori, and I couldn't stop laughing. So, yeah.
I was wondering why you giggling while I was saying
Yeah,
that. I was like, I'm
dude.
not even saying anything outlandish
No,
right
man. Tory Landsman.
Shout out.
He's just a funny fucking dude. He's an old fucking hippie we worked with.
now. Yeah, silver and gold would be decent investments though for sure.
Mm-hmm.
What do you got for us there, Zach?
All right. So the would you rather is this: would you rather fight? Hold on. Let me say this properly.
You should ask what did you ask me that day we were riding solo?
How many 5-year-olds could you take in a fight?
Yeah.
I'd like to see his answer because ours was pretty high.
In one fight, like in waves? Are we getting them in waves, or is it just?
Oh, see, we didn't even thought of that.
We didn't even think. I just kind of imagined they were just like coming at you.
Okay.
So like eventually they are gonna start to queue up.
And they're
what I mean?
average
Yeah.
5-year-olds, but maybe there's a couple big boys like O'Doyle sprinkled in there. And then
But for any of them, there's got to be a couple
Big
little
boys.
guys.
Yeah,
that
there's
just
got to be
fucking
one of the random
sacrifices.
some
yeah,
randos
so it
from
averages
recess.
out.
How many?
I gotta think about this, man. I don't know. In a fight all at once.
A fight to the death too. Like I said I was taking no prisoners. I'm boot fucking these kids in the face.
Your life is on the line.
Yeah, okay. Probably like 20, maybe.
Whoa. I said like 70, 75.
Me too.
Really?
Yeah.
Because dude, those first couple are just getting it. Like,
And
come
they
on,
might
man.
get
Yeah.
the other
If
ones might get
if you're
scared.
literally scared for your life and some 5-year-old comes up, like, dead.
I
Like,
guess, yeah.
Dude, I'm Sparta kicking these kids in the face and shit. Then he
Okay,
asked me
okay.
later if they had weapons, and I was like, well, if there's no guns involved, really, I'd just be trying to like find one with a bat. Like, you could take a swing from a 5-year-old with a baseball bat.
Yeah.
Way more than they could take one from a me.
Yeah, I guess.
So you just got to get one of those weapons and just start
Oh, okay,
teeing
so you
off
could
on
use
kids.
the weapons.
Well, that
Use
was
them
we,
as a
we
weapon.
we evolved to that part of it later. At first, it was just a fight.
We might have spent more time talking about it than we should have, but it was a good, it was a good conversation.
It's interesting.
Because I was thinking, I'm only really starting to slow down when cardio slows down, and the kids can start to like climb on me and shit.
yeah.
But you gotta think the first at least like 20, especially if they're coming at waves, that's different. So if like 5 are coming at, but if it's like one, eventually they'll start to queue up. But those first couple are just getting.
Oh, I'm grabbing the first one and kicking him in the knee so it breaks. And
So
all the
hold
other
on,
ones
it's
are gonna
coming
get
one. They're
scared.
coming one at a time.
Well, we never really even got
We
that
didn't-
far.
No.
I was thinking like, fucking standing in a circle, and all of a sudden you got a bunch of motherfuckers surrounding.
That's kind of what I was
You
thinking.
know what
too,
I
yeah.
mean? And then you're like fucking literally just trying to like.
A fucking Batman
Yeah,
fight. There's
man.
fucking 10, 20 dudes around you.
Yeah, or like fucking just swinging your arms at whoever. But I guess like now that you say that, it's just like just run into these fucking kids and boot fuck them and fucking smash them in the head. Yeah. So like I mean, I guess. Grab the smallest one and start swinging them around.
That's what he was saying, kind of too.
That's what I was
Start
saying,
using one of the little kids as a weapon.
And
I
you can
figured that
also-
would like tire you out more. Cardio would be my main concern.
Me too.
Yeah.
Because like, how many times does little kids have to punch you to really do damage? If they're not getting you in
probably
the dick,
never.
you know what I mean? Like, it would take a lot of little kids to stomp you out.
Yeah.
And you know, kids get distracted. Kids get so distracted. There's probably gonna be a.
Fucking 30 little 5-year-olds just boot fucking. You're just like.
And you never know, like, you know, when you're playing soccer as a kid, and there's always a couple kids that are like picking dandelions and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What those kids are unsuspecting, you just run up to them and just sock kick them right in the fucking head.
Dummy.
Yeah, they cease to exist.
All right, well, yeah, I got, I guess, more confidence in my fighting abilities than you did. 'Cause I guessed 50 more than you.
Well, I'm confident in my fighting abilities. I'd probably fuck up more than that, but we'll start at 20. I'm modest.
Fair enough.
You know?
Okay, well, I guess in that same vein or theme, would you rather fight 100 duck-sized horses or one horse-sized duck? So 100 little horses or one fucking massive.
100 little horses.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
For
100.
sure.
But no one
100
wants to play
horses.
devil's advocate. jump on the other side?
I don't know, man. A duck that big. I think
Yeah,
ducks have,
dude.
like,
Dude,
Yeah,
imagine
dude.
it's how big its bill would be. It'd be like a massive pelican bill, and it would just swallow you up.
and its
Yeah,
wingspan would be massive.
That's what I would be worried
It's like a
about is their
pterodactyl.
wingspan because they're like fucking coming at you.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean?
Horses can't fly. Ducks can fly.
Yeah,
right?
man. Even the fucking.
I'm
the
sure they're like
geese.
talons are relatively sharp. I'm sure.
Do they have talons? I thought ducks just have webbed feet.
I think they have some sort of nail or something. No,
I'll check
I
it
don't
out.
know. I don't know what a duck's foot.
Yeah,
really
I'd be
looks
worried
like.
about the beak. They're yellow, I think.
The beaks or the feet.
The feet.
I thought they were orange. I don't know.
There's 3 of them. They got 3
I
coats.
googled duck feet, or I binged
I'm
duck
thinking
feet.
about fucking Daffy.
Oh, they ain't
Chickens
got,
got,
no.
little tiny claws.
Oh,
on
I
their
guess they
thing.
have little tiny, and I guess once you get bigger, they'll probably get larger, right?
Yeah, I'd be worried more about the beak.
the beak
A
though.
The
pterodactyl.
beak in the yeah, the beak in the wingspan. Cause like, haven't you seen when we go golfing the fucking
Those geese, man.
the geese there? Yeah, man, they're not even that.
But can the
big, and their
wings really
wings-
fuck you up though?
So
Yeah,
I know
man,
swan
for
wings will,
sure.
like a swan. If a swan hits you with its wing, it's like getting cold cocked.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, the
Or
thing,
in that realm.
the thing about the geese are like those birds. They're just like coming at you, and if they like hit you with it, obviously it's gonna hurt a little bit.
Yeah, it's
They're,
got it.
like
I would take the miniature things for sure. Horses that small, I guess they could like rear up or like turn and kick you and shit. But I'd just be Ronaldo booting them things.
I
left,
would
right,
try to
and
get
center.
them onto my side and maybe form them into like a giant unit, and they could pull me around like a dog sled or something. That'd be sick.
So he'd be like
And
the
how much
horse
is 100
whisperer.
little horses gonna eat? Probably not that much. Maybe a bale of hay a day.
well, they're the size of a duck, right?
Yeah. This big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Size of a football.
I keep
roughly.
thinking geese.
Like a.
No, that's a different thing. Imagine a giant goose. That could take over the world.
Got anything else for us?
I do just have some facts about the Great Depression.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just because there's been a lot of talk lately about how we're kind of headed not to that standard, but another kind of financial fall because of everything that's happened during COVID. The banks and the governments have leveraged themselves. There's no money. We have too much money, whatever they're saying. So back in the Great Depression, so these are just some facts about what was going on during the Great Depression. So popular foods during the Great Depression include macaroni and cheese, chili, creamed chicken on a biscuit, and corned beef. Some of the stranger foods include prune pudding,
Gross.
peanut butter stuffed baked onions, which I know
Ooh.
Niko would love.
I'm not a big fan of onions either. I'm out on that.
Yeah.
Spaghetti with
That's a no for me, dog.
spaghetti with boiled carrots and white sauce. During the Great Depression, children played games such as Scrabble and Monopoly, which were first sold during the 1930s. Other popular games were Pinochle, Canasta, Bridge, and Whist, which I have no idea what that is.
I never heard of any of those.
I've heard of bridge. I
And
think.
Canasta, but I've never heard of
What the
Pinochle.
fuck is bridge?
I might be thinking crib.
Crib's a game that's dope. During the Great Depression, miniature golf was widely popular for children and families because of low operating costs. Okay, getting more into the financial side. On Black Tuesday, October 29th, 1929, the market lost $14 billion,
Yeah.
making the loss for that week an astounding $30 billion. This was 10 times more than the annual federal budget and far more than the U.S. had spent in WW1. $30 billion would be equivalent to $377 billion. $377,587,032,770.
Damn.
So that's a lot. After the initial crash, there was a wave of suicides in New York's financial district. It is said that the clerks of one hotel even started asking new guests if they needed a room for sleeping or jumping.
God damn.
Damn.
As news of the stock market crash spread, customers rushed to their banks to withdraw their money, sparking disastrous bank runs. Nobel Prize-winning economist Milton Friedman argues that the 1930s market crash itself did not cause the depression, but rather it was the collapse of the banking system during waves of public panic during the 1930 and 1933, between those times. Causes of the Great Depression are widely debated, but typically include a weak banking system, overproduction, bursting credit bubble, and the fact that farmers and industrial workers had not shared in the prosperity of the 1920s, and a government-held laissez-faire policy, which was just kind of let things happen as they happened. And yeah, everyone says that the turnaround. So during the worst years of the Depression, 1933 to 1934, the overall jobless rate was 25%. So 1 out of 4 people, with another 25% taking wage cuts or working part-time. The gross national product fell by 50%. And it was not until 1941, when the WW2 was underway, that unemployment officially fell back below 10%.
Damn.
So a big war kind of turned it around for
Wars
everybody.
produce money, isn't that?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, and they drafted half of their people out there, so there was more jobs at home.
You make more jobs and you make less people that need jobs.
That's right. So yeah, those are my little facts.
Isn't it so fucked up that the banking system can only has to have 10% of the money they lend out?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's fucked up.
They only have to have 10% of the money they lend out.
Yeah.
Like physically have that money because they're always making their transactions. So they're banking on money always coming in.
It's almost like a Ponzi scheme. In a way. Which is really crazy that it's such like a fundamental part of our society. But yeah, if a bank has $10, they're allowed to lend out 100 because they assume the rest of the 90's coming. But then, like, if one day everybody just stopped and went and got their money, like, everyone tried to withdraw their money, apparently they only have 10% of.
So they wouldn't be able to give back what they owe.
That's why what it said about the people doing these bank runs. They were clearing out the banks, and the banks had to stop operating. They didn't have any money.
And then what? All the people that didn't get their money out of there no longer have any money?
Yeah, they're what they called the jumpers, I think. Just joking. Just joking.
Like, how much money do you think a bank actually has on hand?
Buddy, that's the thing. Okay, so the other day, buddy at work was like saying some shit. He was just joking around. Yeah, just go fucking rob a bank. Tell him to give me $1 million. I was like, bro, they do not have $1 million
No.
in that fucking bank. That's what I mean. That's what he's fucking talking
Not a
about.
chance.
TD Bank. I'm thinking to myself, no, these motherfuckers probably have like
Right on hand in cash? There's no way they have a
maybe
million.
100,000 or 200,000. How much money? How much cash? How many people go into the bank on a daily basis and pull out $1,000?
How much of it's just digital, you know? How many people are actually using cash?
Exactly. They're not using cash anymore. So even if a fucking 1,000 people went in there and took out $1,000, if they have 250 on hand, they got more than enough. You know what I mean?
So it says here that banks tend to keep only enough cash in the vault to meet
That's
their
wrong.
anticipated transaction needs. So smaller banks may only keep 50,000 or so on hand, while larger banks might keep as much as 200,000. But also, I just Googled how much money does a bank actually have on hand. So I might be on like you said the other night, I might be on a list again today.
This podcast getting in trouble.
Getting
with the
flagged by
internet god.
CSIS.
So how much does it say?
50,000 to 200,000
Oh, yeah, okay,
typically.
yeah.
But I'm sure it fluctuates. Like imagine someone goes in and they're like, I'm taking $200,000 out, and the bank doesn't have it. I wonder what happens then.
I'm sure you have to make an appointment.
And I was
Probably,
gonna say
yeah.
that as well. You
That
probably
makes
got to
sense.
call in. Why are you calling in? Because I want to withdraw fucking $200,000.
Like, I wonder if, like, one of the things I was thinking about when you were saying all that Great Depression thing is how they lost, like, 40 billion or whatever in that week. It's like, there's two dudes right now that have that much money. Like, Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk.
But that
have
was 40
much
billion
money.
back then. That's
I
why.
understand.
Which is probably like fucking.
Well, it said 377 billion.
Is what it would be today.
370.
Yes, 377 billion with inflation. Because you got to think
Fuck,
that's inflation
it?
over 80 years, 90 years,
I
right?
thought it was gonna be more than that.
Well, it's roughly 10 and a little bit times the amount, right? So that means inflation went up 10 times since then.
Yeah.
If that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
It's just crazy that, like, now that how much money was crippling a whole economy and starting this Great Depression is literally what a dude has in an account right now.
And
Or
and-
not an account, but I'm sure they don't have that on liquid.
No,
but
he can't. I doubt Elon Musk, and that's another good question. I guess you can't go in and be like, "I'm worth $40 billion. I want to take out $40 billion."
Yeah, no,
right?
it doesn't work like that.
Yeah, how many different banks would you have to go to get that cash?
That's right. So it's almost imaginary.
Literally the Federal Reserve. They're just like, okay, bring 30 fucking
Yeah.
18-wheelers to the Federal Reserve.
Like you said, it's basically imaginary, unless you have it on hand. Having 40 billion in the bank, yeah, you can go buy whatever you want with your credit. because it's not actual money. You know what I mean?
And that's why it all comes back to silver and gold.
Well, and then the Federal Reserve even took the American dollar off of gold, so really it's based on like nothing. It's just paper.
And there used to be the gold standard too, where if you had gold, you could go into the bank and
That's
they
what
have
I'm
to.
saying.
But
Yeah.
that doesn't exist anymore.
Really?
No.
No,
See,
like the
and that's-
Federal Reserve got off of the gold standard. That's what it's
So
called.
that's what I was saying before is you can always have that market, and I thought the market was always at that price is what you're gonna get your gold for.
You
but-
can, if you have that, you can go to Cash Gold and they will pay you that money today. Like the Cash Gold places, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
Cash
yeah.
for gold. If you have a physical piece of gold, you can take it in, check it, and then they will give you your money on hand cash or whatever you want to.
Oh, okay.
If you had a gold bracelet right now that you didn't want, I would tell you to give it to me. I would take it to Cody. Cody would he'd test it. 10%, okay, perfect. Put it on a scale right in front of you. Go to Gold
Is
Canada.
perfect good?
Mm-hmm.
Is 10% good or whatever you said?
What?
10 carat?
10 carat is like
There's
it's
some
the most
shit
durable.
in there, eh?
Yeah, there's like different alloys mixed with it, which is how you make rose gold and white gold. The alloys you mix with it. Pure gold's always gonna be yellow.
Yeah,
Always.
okay.
Then they use different alloys to mix it down to make it into rose gold or into white gold.
Okay.
But 10% is the gold that's most often used for jewelry. 10, 14, 18. If you're getting to like 22, 24, like it's too soft. It's too malleable. You don't really want to use it for jewelry at that point. Because the percentage of the gold to the, like, I think 10% gold is like, you can Google it real quick, but I think it's like 42% gold.
Yeah, it's got a bunch of shit in it, is what I
Yeah.
heard, right? The higher you go, the more pure the gold
The
is.
less of the other alloy mixed into
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
But then gold at that point would, like, you couldn't actually make jewelry out of it because it's just too soft.
So,
Like, I'm not wearing my ring right now, but even my ring the other day, I was at work wearing it, and I like pressed the back of it flat, and it's only 10 karat, and it's only stamped out gold. It's nothing crazy, but
so
it's
if
like
it was a 24 carat, that thing would have been like,
I might even have broke it because it'd be that much softer, because more of it would be gold. Like gold's not a very hard
durable.
material at the end of the day.
Yeah, this
Gotcha.
says it supports what you said, Fred. It said purity 10 karat gold is made up of 41.7% gold and 58.3% alloy. In the United States and many other countries, 10K gold is the lowest level of purity that can be legally marketed and sold using the word gold. In comparison, 14K gold is 58.3 pure gold and and 18 karat gold is 75% pure gold.
Damn.
I think 24 is getting like pretty. I see how much 24% gold, 24 karat gold.
What's the
percentage
highest?
is.
24?
I think that's the highest you'll ever get in like jewelry. So I mean 99.99, like those
Yeah,
bars.
obviously,
That's
yeah.
pure gold, but
24 karat gold is made up of 100% pure gold.
oh, there you
Oh,
go.
damn.
Or as close to as you can get.
There you go.
Yeah.
So yeah, that would be like quite soft, and you got to be like that's pretty heavy for the price, right? That's the other thing is you're using the alloys to like kind of like reduce the price. It's still gold, but I remember we would see like I think the lowest we
Oh,
saw
I
was
got you.
8 karat, but we saw 9 karat gold come out of China on some necklaces and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you had something that you didn't want, and you took it to him, he would Google it right in front of you. Yo, this is the price of gold or scrap gold, because he's gonna have to melt it down more than likely. To melt it down to pure gold and then remix it, because he's gonna want to use it for something else. He's gonna get a bunch of different scrap gold together, unless he could just resell the thing. Then he'd have a different conversation with you. But scrap gold is like as good as cash. If you take it to a cash place or a gold place like he did, a jeweler or whomever,
Yeah.
it's like, yo, here you can see the value. It's worth that right here. I'll give you cash for that, because he'll use it. He'll wait for it to go up. He'll use it as material. Blah blah blah.
Yeah, I got you.
That it? Well, we didn't get predictions for tonight. Game 3, back in Edmonton. Did the Oilers get too excited and shoot their fucking load, or
I
Is
think the Oilers are going to win. Unless they have a shitty start like they seem to have in the first 5-10 minutes of every game.
of the
lately.
2 games for sure?
Mhm.
That one, the first one was brutal.
Horrendous. Yeah.
Yeah, that was. I'm not even. Yeah, that was fucked up. I think the Oilers are going to win. It's a tough one, man. The Oilers are going to win by a score of 4-2.
Ooh,
4-2. Interesting. What's your score?
I'm gonna predict an Oilers win as well, and I'm gonna say 5-3 with an empty netter.
So like last night, kind of? Or not last night,
2
the night
nights ago.
before, yeah.
Yeah, something very similar to that. A pretty tight game, but the Oilers are going to squeak it out in the end. And I'm going to say that before, I guess the series will be over before we record our next podcast. So what I was gonna say wouldn't make sense, but I think Kachuk and Kane will fight in Edmonton in these next 2 games. I think that fight's finally gonna.
I don't
go
think
down.
that goes very well for Kachuk.
I don't think he actually wants to fight
No.
Evander Kane.
No, he just wants to get under his
Evander
He just
Kane
wants to get
fought
under his
Ryan
skin,
Reeves
yeah.
and did pretty well in that fight. So
Evander
Kachuk,
Kane's a beast, dude.
yeah, dude. So I don't think. And that being said, Cassian was getting into Lucic's face, and I don't think Cassian would very fare
No,
very
that's
well.
not. That's the wrong tree to bark up.
That's
I think
right.
the only Oiler that has a decent chance of fighting Milan Lucic and like showing respectably would be
Darnell
Darnell
Nurse. Yeah, but
Had
he's
to be.
injured. He's probably not allowed to fight right now.
Yeah, I wouldn't
Yeah.
really. that-
Technically,
that too.
a guy that played for the Florida or the Calgary Flames, who now plays for the Florida Panthers, Sam Bennett fought Darnell Nurse a couple years ago, and he beat him up pretty good. And he's not very big. He's like 5'11".
Sam Bennett beat him
Sam
up?
Bennett. Yep.
Oh damn,
I'll show you the video after if you want.
damn. There was one more. Oh, Zach Hyman has really
Yeah.
been like impressing me. How hard he's been on the puck. There's been a couple times where he's like the only guy going in, like crossing center ice, 1-on-2, 1-on-3, sometimes 1-on-1, but not in like a breakaway position, so to say. And he's just so good at like boxing out, I guess, using his body to like get in the way of these other players. Man, he's actually really impressed me with how he's been playing these last couple games against Calgary.
I also think he's happy just to be past the first round because when he was strapped in Toronto, they never got out of the first round. So he's probably just like, oh, this is what it's like on the other side.
Hi-ho,
Just
Toronto
saying.
Maple Leafs hate. I'm here for it.
Yeah. So
Anybody else on the Oilers stand out for you guys?
Yeah, I was gonna say Zach Hyman. Without his production, the Oilers wouldn't have. I mean,
Yeah,
don't-
he's scored in both games,
he
and I think
scored
it's
in
1 or
both
2
games.
goals.
The first game was kind of a write-off, but I mean, he tied it up to make it 6-6 or whatever. I think it was the goal.
No, I think
that's what-
Yamamoto scored the tying goal.
Yeah.
he was
regardless,
in the comeback.
Yeah, he was part of that, and yeah, he was part of the other game last week or a couple days ago.
I
got
think
a
he
couple
scored
goals.
the third and the fourth goal, and then Draisaitl scored, and then Yamamoto scored, and then it all went to shit.
Yeah, so Zach Hyman for sure. Ryan Nugent Hopkins as well. I feel like he's been battling it out, throwing the body around a little bit.
What
Looks-
he can do.
What he can do, and it looks like he's one of those players that actually wants it. So
very good
Bouchard on the
two-way player.
back end too. I feel like he's been playing pretty good. He had that nice clapper, and
He's got a bomb, man.
yeah,
Yeah.
that was a good shot.
I didn't really know much about him. I think he was a call up. I think the coach pulled like a Pep Guardiola, like when he went from Barca B coach to the Barcelona coach. He brought Sergio Busquets and Pedro with him. I think this guy did that with Bouchard. Like our new coach, he came up from Bakersfield, and I think he like that was his guy, one of his guys, and he brought him up with him. I think it's him.
Bouchard he's played the whole season here for the Oilers, but he was
okay.
coached under Woodcroft when he was down in the minors. So
I think there's another guy then that he brought up. I feel
Probably.
like there was someone, a
Probably.
defenseman that he like brought up with him from the farm team. I could be
Probably.
wrong though. I could be wrong.
So is Jay Woodcroft? That's his name, right?
hmm
Is he gonna be the manager for
The
Or, like,
foreseeable
for
future.
the foreseeable
Probably.
future? Or is he like the interim guy right now, or something?
he's not interim. He's the head coach, but how long his reign lasts, who knows?
Gotcha.
Depends on performance, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they turned around where they were when he took over
Mhm.
They
because
were
they
one of the
weren't
best
performing very good.
I
Very
heard
well.
that. I think it was Calgary and Edmonton were the two best teams after the All-Star break.
Mm.
I don't know if that's
I think they're
Legit.
up there for sure.
yeah. I heard they were two of the best
Calgary,
teams.
as much as we hate them, Calgary's a very well-rounded team.
Man, that first game I was like, yo, these guys are like, this is a good hockey team,
It
man.
was
And-
6-2
They
at one
got
point.
depth,
Yeah,
and their
man.
defense is just so solid.
And they were like pressing on the puck, making the Oilers make mistakes and getting all these like easy ass goals. And I'm thinking to myself, fuck, if the Oilers continue to play like this, they're gonna get swept. But the last game was
Yeah, things turned around a little bit.
yeah, I was a little bit more impressed with the Oilers because they actually played like they wanted it.
As well, as much as he did turn his performance around in Mike Smith, imagine the Oilers had a real first string goalie. Like, I mean, like a real top 10 goalie in the NHL. They'd be a force. I mean, they still need some more depth on defense specifically, I think. But if they had a real top 10 goalie, I feel like that would be the next step they need to take.
Yep, that's been what they've been trying to do, but they keep betting on the wrong horse, I think. But Mike Smith's played okay.
Consistently betting on the wrong horse. I feel like they always go for somebody that's past their prime.
Or someone, they paid Koskinen $4 million based off half a season. So now they're stuck with him, I think, till next year or whatever.
Well, I think he's going. I heard he signed somewhere in the fucking
The Europe?
something like that.
The
Yeah.
KHL or the Finnish Elite League or whatever?
Yeah. I heard. Yeah. I don't know if that's after this season or next season, but
During the Game 2 broadcast, they said the same free agency summer, the Oilers were in for Markstrom, who is Calgary's
Yes.
goalie.
yes.
And then he signed for Calgary
Is what-
instead. Then they went after Mike Smith. So he
Yeah.
was like their second choice.
Well,
Yeah.
Markstrom was going to sign, I think, with us, but Calgary offered him 1 more year, and the Oilers weren't willing to offer him 1 more year, and that's what happens.
Here
really,
we are.
Mm-hmm. Here we are.
Apparently, that's why Lewandowski wants to go to Barcelona, because Bayern Munich don't sign people over, I think it's like 33 or even in their 30s to more than a 1-year contract. Like they'll only agree to 1 year at a time. Apparently, Madrid do the same thing, and Modric did it for the 1 year, performed, and then they gave him 2 after it. But apparently, that's like why Ramos left. He wanted a more than a 1 year contract, and Madrid wouldn't give it to him. Apparently, that's why Lewandowski wants to leave
really.
Bayern, because they won't give him more than 1 year. That's why Robin left Bayern, Ribéry. Apparently, once you get to a certain age, some clubs just like will not offer you more than
They're
a
trying
1 year
to.
extension.
They're trying to limit their potential losses.
Yeah, they don't want you for 3 years if only one of them is going to be productive.
Yeah.
But look at James Harden. He's going to be 36, I think. And he could
James Harden's 36.
No, he wants to.
LeBron James is 36.
LeBron
No,
James 38. James Harden is qualifies for the Supermax extension, but the debate is whether he deserves it right now because
Fuck no.
that means they'll be paying him $60 million when he's 37 years old.
Fuck no.
And
James Harden doesn't deserve a supermax if it was for 2 years and he was 32 years old after how he's been performing.
Mm-hmm.
A guy like a fucking
He's
egg in
lost
Philly,
a step and he's kind of trending down.
and even Brooklyn.
Yeah, he was fucking trash in Brooklyn. He was amazing in Houston for sure, but now he's only averaging 22, 10, and 8, which are very good numbers. It's almost
22, 10, and 8.
which is a good. It's basically a triple double, but
Yeah, that's pretty good.
He used to
But
average
it's-
28, 29, and he's not getting to the rim anymore. So if he's having an off shooting game, then what's he really doing?
That's still pretty good. 22, 20. I mean, obviously he could average more points, but 10 and 8.
But a
that's pretty-
supermax, the most money you can give
Yeah.
someone for the most years. Supermaxes are always 6 years,
Mhm.
right? They're always the max. Could be wrong.
so James Harden right now is fucking. He's 32. So yeah. So by the time he's 37, he'll be getting 60 mil, and he's already arguably out of his prime.
That's what it seems like.
Supermaxes are what fuck some people. It's like John Wall, even Russell Westbrook getting there. Like I'm not sure those guys are on supermaxes, so to say, but like John Wall getting $44 million. Who wants to pay John Wall $44 million?
Doncic got the supermax, but that's because he's a legend.
He's a
Who?
beast, yeah.
Doncic, Luka Doncic.
Oh, Luka Doncic. Yeah. Oh man, have you seen the stat that I posted to my Instagram story the other day? I was
don't
telling
think
Niko
so.
about it. Oh fuck. it's
Was it that
probably-
he was like better than all?
Yeah.
Yeah,
each
dude.
individual stat of that. Yeah, I saw
Yeah,
that.
he
Rebounded.
outscored Devin Booker, who finished 4th in the MVP race. Out rebounded DeAndre Ayton, who's a 7-foot center. Out assisted Chris the
Paul.
point guard Paul, and got more steals than Mikal Bridges, who finished 2nd in Defensive Player of the
Yeah,
Year.
he's a
voting.
very well-rounded player. Even LeBron James said he's someone that he thinks compares to his all-around game. Like LeBron said that about Luka Doncic. He's like, I could see him being.
And he can't even dunk.
He kind of can, but
I
he
just seen him
doesn't.
do a finger roll the other day.
He
yeah.
doesn't in game, I don't think very much, but he has a couple highlights, I think.
Yeah, I think I was telling Niko about this. I think yesterday, or the day before, like Ja Morant, Luka Doncic, and Giannis Antetokounmpo were like the people that I really try to watch in the NBA. They're so entertaining.
I don't really like John Morant anymore after
Really?
just because he's after his playoff series against the frickin' who was it? Was it Golden State?
He played
Yeah.
Minnesota
Or
in the first
yeah,
round
and
and
all-
then Golden State.
Yeah, it is just the way he was behaving and stuff kind of turned me off a little bit. Like
Yeah,
doing
like
the
the-
gritty and stuff like that.
What's the gritty?
That dance thing.
It's like a little dance that he does. It's almost kind of like a walking forward. I don't
But it's
really
more
know how
they
to
were just
describe
being
it,
I
but-
felt like they were being kind of not
Cocky?
clowns, but just kind of just like that's not what playoff basketball is about.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what
Are you
mean?
one of those act like you've been there before guys?
Kinda, yeah. Like don't act like I feel like they kind of embarrassed themselves.
Really?
Just that's all. But that's just me being kind of like an older. I
I
guess.
can't remember exactly what it was, but I saw an Instagram video. It was something that like he does that dance all the time, and then somebody on Minnesota said something or did it, and then he just tweeted like a pen writing on a note, like he was taking notes that this guy was like talking shit to him. And then when they eliminated him, he did that dance on the Minnesota Timberwolves logo, which is
Damn.
pretty savage. But
It is savage, but I just don't think that's playoff. I think do that in the regular season, but playoffs is a little bit more like a revered time.
do you
in
think
my
that's
opinion.
like anti, like almost like Mamba mentality, but too far?
No, I think it's completely anti-Mamba. Kobe would never do that.
No, he ain't dancing.
No, he would
Never.
never. And he wouldn't try to like. Oh, he would disrespect you by playing basketball, not by doing shit on the side like that. So.
Yeah.
I love some Kobe Bryant disrespectful to his own teammates stories. It
Oh,
makes him
like-
like shitty, but I love
Like
them.
that clip on Jimmy Kimmel where he's
I was
like,
just gonna say that's
yeah.
one of them. Yeah, he shows them clips of all of his teammates. Yeah, we do, and they lost by like some points or whatever. Yeah, we Nick Young like Swaggy P and shit. Oh yeah, I did it. And then Kobe Bryant just like looks over at the monitor, looks back at Jimmy Kimmel, and you just tell he's like zero impressed. The season he tore his Achilles, they got blown out, and a couple games later, he walked into the locker room, said, you, and you, all the guys wearing his shoes. He said, take them shit off. None of you guys are allowed to wear my shoes.
Really?
That's
None
so
of you are
sick.
allowed to wear Kobe Bryant shoes. Get the fuck out.
See,
None of you.
that's cool, but dancing on logos and shit is just like. it's
I mean,
not
no, that is
TikTok.
kind of a dick move. Kobe Bryant was a dick. Favorite basketball player of all time. Name my dog Kobe, blah, blah, blah. Kobe Bryant was. You hear the story about him making his whole team run suicides because of
Yeah.
free throws?
Yeah.
Yeah. Phil Jackson lines up all 12 players. All of them have to shoot 2 free throws. He says if you guys miss 2 or more, you all got to run 5 suicides, 10 suicides, which is like a classic thing in basketball practices. I even did that in high school. Like, that's just a classic thing.
Suicides?
Well,
Or
the
free
free throws at the end of practice, because it's kind of like building pressure. It's almost like at the end of a game. No one wants to run suicides at the end of
Yeah.
fucking practice. So everyone's got it. And then you give your whole team 2 misses. That means everybody has
team.
to hit both minus one guy. I mean, I'm sure mine back in, like, that's like an NBA.
Yeah.
Kobe Bryant shot first, second, whatever, missed. Every single person hit both, even Shaq. The guy that was the last shooter goes, it's about to go in, Kobe Bryant jumps up and swats it. He says, I guess we're running suicides because I'm not the only one missing.
Really?
He made the whole fucking team run suicides just because he didn't want to be the only person to have missed a free throw. Like, that's a fucking dick move, dude. Imagine being on that guy's team. It's like, man, fuck you.
I mean,
But you might get a ring.
yeah, exactly.
might get
I
a
was
ring,
gonna say,
though.
This is how you breed winners, and,
Right?
You know, like,
Trying to get the best out of him.
yeah, man. See how much they
Is he,
want
though?
it
Because
to.
if he was one of the guys that would have hit both of them, he's not swatting 2 shots from other people.
Or maybe he would have and been like, we got to run anyways because you guys are trash.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, right? Doing that anyway. It's like, yo, you guys are fucking trash. He's like, he's probably thinking, I expected these guys to miss easy. You know, all of a sudden they're fucking gonna save them or they're gonna make them all. He's like, yo, fuck that shit. We're running.
He definitely was a guy that would pick hills to die on, because there's a video of them against the Suns in one of the years where Kobe Bryant averaged like 35 points a game in the regular season, and they're up against the Suns and everyone's saying he doesn't pass. So there's a whole quarter. I think it's like the part of the third and the whole fourth quarter where he doesn't take any shots. You can see he's just dribbling, running the motions of offense and kicking to open guys, and they're just bricking everything, dude. They're open as fuck. Brick. And you can just like the YouTube guys, like, you can see Kobe Bryant pick this day to look at management and be like, oh yeah, I'm supposed to pass to these fucking okay.
Smashed him or passed a smush mark.
Yeah, smashed the Smush Parker on the wing, Vladimir Radmanovic, like Chris Mim down low, like, get the fuck out of here, man.
Luke Walton, maybe?
Yo, Luke Walton actually knew how to run a triangle offense, though. He was one of the better players on that team.
And
That's
that
saying a
sounds
lot.
like-
I mean, Karan Butler and Luke Walton are your go-to players. Like, fuck me. Trash. And then, yeah, that's when he was like, yo, I'm getting out of LA or make some trades, and then did that in the playoffs, and they were like, okay. Well, we'll rebuild around you, dude. Relax. We're not trading you. We're trading these other guys. Anyway, these guys got to get to the golf course, and we're probably long past where we should have been. Everybody at home that stuck around this long, thank you very much. We appreciate it. And rate, review, subscribe, all that shit I said at the beginning. And this has been another episode of 7 Days Makes 1 Week. Peace.